Joanne today, and she said, "What, me? What did I do?" "A mighty fortress is my God." And I absolutely adore that song. God bless Martin Luther when he came up with those words. Thank you, Joanne, for one of my absolute favorites. Well, I have a good one for you. It's called "A Little Man Meets a Big God." There's a story about a local fitness center which was offering $1,000 to anyone who could demonstrate they were stronger than the owner of the place. Here's how it worked. This muscle man would squeeze a lemon until all the juice ran into a glass. Then he'd hand the lemon to the next muscle man and challenger. Anyone who could squeeze just one drop of juice would win the lemon. Many people tried over that next month. Even these huge weightlifters and these big farmers and these construction workers and even professional wrestlers came in to try to win the prize, but nobody could do it. One day, a short and skinny guy, like me, came in and signed up for the contest. After the laughter died down, the owner grabbed a lemon, squeezed as hard as he could, squeezed out every last drop. Then he handed the wrinkled remains to this little man. The crowd's laughter turned to silence as the man clenched his fist around the lemon, and 6 drops fell into the empty glass. As the crowd cheered, the manager paid out the winning prize and asked the short guy what he did for a living. "Are you a lumberjack? Are you a weightlifter, or what?" "Nah, I just work for the IRS." As we get ready for tax season, isn't it wonderful? And Coy's being such a good baby. Oh, that's awesome. Well, has anybody ever watched the show Little People, Big World? It's absolutely one of my favorites. I love that show. And for those who haven't, this is Matt and Amy Roloff. They're out in the state of Washington, and they own this farm called Roloff Farms. They do pumpkins and all this kind of really cool stuff. And their season's just opening right now. And it's on the A&E channel if you ever get a chance. But one little thing about Matt and Amy, the title of the show, Little People, Big World. Well, they suffer from that disease dwarfism. But the reason I bring this story up, or use them as my example today, because of that Zacheus, we know he was a tiny little man. But that's not the whole point. Despite their size, they're able to overcome these adversities that most of us would sit and probably grumble about. Matt, in fact, one of his things in his company is he builds devices that allows people of short stature, whether they have dwarfism or not, to be able to function in the big world. You know, you go to these hotels, you can go places when we travel, and you know, we kind of take for granted that we can actually reach up to the sink. But for some people, they can't. So he makes these devices to help people overcome those adversities in their life. But I think about today's gospel. Today is about talking about a man, Zacheus, that's filled with adversities in his life. One thing that we know about Zacheus, and we talked about this last week, did we not? In our gospel text, talking about the tax collector and the Pharisee, and how the Pharisee was just being ridiculous and being pompous and just throwing out all this stuff. But yet, who was the one who really truly gave his heart to Jesus Christ? It was the tax collector. So here we go again this week. In our gospel text, Jesus using a tax collector. And in my opinion, yes, the IRS can be saved. Yes, they're greedy and they take all our money away. But it's possible they too can be saved. But here's Zacheus, and I actually have him noted in my notes here, Zach. I think it's kind of cool. But Zach was kind of curious, right? Here he is, he knows Jesus Christ is coming into town, and he wants to know what's going on. He was highly regarded back in those days as a Roman tax collector. So, of course, he wants to be amongst the people and see what's going on and what all this chatter's about. So here he is, and the crowd starts to gather, and Zacheus, being the short man that he is, "Hey, I can't see." You ever had that happen in church? You get like a really tall person in front of you, and now you can't see the pastor? Oh, it's such a terrible thing. At least some of you. thought that was funny. That's good. But here's these crowds, they're growing, and Zacheus is getting frustrated. So he finds this tree, and he climbs it. It's the only way he's actually going to get noticed, or actually be able to catch a glimpse, if you will, of Jesus walking by. But you know, this brings up an interesting point. Don't we spend a lot of time in our life trying to get noticed? I remember back in elementary school, we were always trying to gain the attention of our teacher. We wanted to get that A. And the only way to get that A is to raise our hand all the time, right? Volunteer to do this and volunteer to do that. And then we start to grow up a little bit, and then we have to be noticed amongst our friends, don't we? We have to go buy the fancy shoes and the nice clothes and be recognized amongst our friendship circle and send cards to everybody and just be in that popular crowd, right? Because we want to be noticed. We want people to say, hey, I recognize you. You know, politicians are working really hard right now to get noticed, aren't they? Or unnoticed for some of them. We see billboards, and probably the one that just agitates the living daylights out of me. Here I'm watching football, right? Yesterday, and then this ad comes up. And it's like, I want to watch football. I care about going and voting, and I care about the issues, and I've educated myself already, and I'm ready to vote on Tuesday, which I remind you to go do. Then this commercial comes up. They want to get noticed, and they're mudslinging like crazy, and I don't want to see that. I'm tired of it. Can't we talk some good things about other people? I think it'd be fun. I was listening to NPR this week, as a politician was saying, you know what? I want to get noticed. I want to be recognized, but I'm not going to do it in the way typical politicians do. In fact, I vowed at the beginning of my campaign, as a Christian, I would never mudsling against my opponent. And you know where he's at in the polls? He's almost 30 points above his competitor. Because why? He took the Christian attitude. He said, I'm not going to be like these other guys and go out there into people's past. As a Christian, I don't care what you did in your past. I care about who you are right now and where you're headed and what direction you're going to take this country. If every politician would do that, wouldn't that be awesome? I wouldn't feel so bad to turn on the TV then. Maybe they need to take that in. When Kathy broadcasts this on there, I hope it gets to every Republican and Democrat, and I don't care what party you're in. Stop the negativity. Stop trying to get recognized in a way that's not right. And call yourself a Christian? Wow. Okay, I'm off my political soapbox. But guess what? We try to get noticed in life, don't we? And sometimes we go to extremes to get noticed. Some people were going to extremes Thursday night to get recognized and noticed. And they did a great job! I don't know about that old lady. And I still have nightmares over that. I'm still disturbed. And she's in the back. But it was funny, both of them. Next year's going to be even better, right? But we try to get noticed. We wear these big wigs and these neon clothes, and it's hard not to notice. When I was at work the other day and they were celebrating Halloween, and they had these costume contest things going on, and this guy, and I had this 170s outfit. It's all flowery and bright. I got this big old bushy wig, and I got these cool old sunglasses. I should have worn it today. That would have been fun. I'll do it next year, I promise. Maybe for trick-or-treat, probably not in church. But you know what? It's hard not to get noticed walking down the street like that. Go dress up in a costume this week and walk into work and see what people do. I guarantee they will keep their eye on you. I guarantee it. Now, I can't tell you what they're going to say around your back.